6:04. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane. Off and running Monday of a holiday week. Yeah, I know. I get it. It's darn near impossible to find the motivation to get out of bed on a morning like this, right? It's not cold. It's not hot. It's just ick. Like there's this moisture in the air. And just, you're not putting a full week. None of your meetings are going to come across this week, right? Everyone's going to cancel. Although that's probably a good thing. But we got you here. We got a lot to cover. Special session on tax reform wrapped on Friday afternoon. We're taking you inside it throughout. We got a lot of sports to cover. We got some Thanksgiving stories to cover. The president's got his cabinet all filled out. Let's dive right in. Top stories and trending. Let's go.
Number 5.
Number 5 starts us off with up in Zachary, actually. Hang on. I'm so sorry. One person was shot and then dropped off at a Zachary apartment complex Sunday night. Hours after the 6 p.m. shooting, Zachary PD told our news partners at BRZ that officers were called to a shooting at a business in the town. While officers were on the way, another call came in that a shooting victim had been dropped off at the Willow Creek Apartments. Police said the victim was taken to a hospital for non-life-threatening injuries, and that's all the information we have on that story right now.
Number 4.
One person was taken to the hospital after their car was shot along a Baton Rouge interstate Sunday night. BRPD said the vehicle was shot multiple times on I-110 around 6 p.m. Driver pulled off, was stopped on Airline Highway at Beechwood, called for help. Police told our news partners at WBRZ not clear where the shooting happened. The driver was hurt, was taken to the hospital for treatment. We don't have names on the victim or any possible suspects in this one either.
Number 3.
State police released video of a shooting in which a Department of Public Safety officer shot 2 people inside a vehicle after a 7-mile chase. State police said Department of Public Safety Capitol Detail officers tried to stop a white Suburban on Chippewa near Daisy after a traffic violation. This happened back on November 4th. We covered it as it happened. After traveling along I-110 and I-10, vehicle exited College Drive, ran into a neighborhood off of Baywell Street. Police said the driver, 33-year-old Tyler Pugh, crashed into an officer's unit, then accelerated toward the officer before shots were fired. By the way, court documents show Pugh had been arrested more than a dozen times in East Baton Rouge Parish for some pretty serious charges and was, just sent about his business along the way.
Number 2.
Baton Rouge Metro Airport is preparing for one of the busiest Thanksgiving travel seasons in recent years, with over 18.3 million passengers expected to travel nationwide from November 26th to December 2nd. BTR is set to serve more than 10,000 departing passengers. That is a 16% increase over last year and a return to pre-pandemic levels. Busiest travel days at BTR are expected to be tomorrow and Wednesday, and then Sunday, December 1st.
Number 1.
Legislators on Friday adjourned their third special session of the year. This one focused on changes to the state's tax policy. 6 bills were passed that will make changes to various aspects of taxing in Louisiana, including the reduction of corporate tax rates, the elimination of a corporate franchise tax, and lowering of income taxes for residents. Bills also doubling the standard tax deductions for seniors, making permanent a $2,000 a year teacher pay raise, and advancing a constitutional amendment giving lawmakers more flexibility to reduce taxes in the future, and modernizing the tax code to include apps and streaming services. They also passed. What's trending, John?
All right, let's see. President-elect Donald Trump said Saturday that he will nominate former White House aide Brooke Rollins to be his agricultural secretary, rounding out his cabinet.
So I was reading up on Brooke Rollins.
Yeah.
She went to Texas A&M. So it's good to know that for the next 4 years, the Department of Agriculture is going to go 8-4.
Ooh.
I'm proud of
good.
that one. I'm proud of that one. By the way, A&M lost to Auburn on Saturday in like 4 overtimes.
Ooh.
And remember what wildfire they were after beating us?
Right.
Well, if they don't beat Texas, who's like in the top, 2 or 3 in the country right now, depending on what poll you're looking at, if they don't beat Texas this coming Saturday, they're going to end up 8-4.
Oof. Oh, my goodness. In other news, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are already getting pushback for what is expected to be one of their first recommendations, getting government employees back in person full-time.
Yeah, the no more remote working thing.
Yep.
They're catching a lot of hell over this one.
Yeah.
And look, if you want a baseline of how productive people are in the office versus out of the office, you've got to bring them back in the office.
Absolutely.
Because you just don't have the side by side. Now the worry here is that people are going to come back into the office and just slack off in the office just to say, "See, I told you I was more productive at home."
Wouldn't be a smart move, but
No, probably
no.
not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Wouldn't recommend it.
It's at that point that job becomes not the person, the job becomes expendable.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, in other news, check this out. As Wicked hits theaters, AMC has a request for moviegoers. Don't sing along with the songs.
I saw that. They're going to kick people out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're going to kick people out, lose
extreme.
your ticket money. Yeah,
Yep.
for singing along with the songs. I get it. I get it. Look,
isn't that part of the experience, though? I mean, you go and see.
no.
I mean,
seeing Ariana Grande sing is part of the experience. Not seeing you.
come on.
Nope, nobody's paying to hear you and me sing. Not that I don't even know Wicked songs.
I don't know any.
Like, I would much rather hear Ariana Grande than, I don't know, anybody in this building.
Yeah. Well, I could see the frustration of moviegoers too. I mean, you're trying to enjoy the movie. Maybe it's your first time seeing it.
Right.
And you got some guy or girls, whatever, a group of people singing along, and it's like it takes away from.
So why not do a separate showing?
Right.
Why not do hell, charge a premium. Do a
Yeah.
separate showing, say, those, the songs, you love the songs. I mean, it's like,
We've seen it before, right? I mean, the lyrics on the screen, it's basically like karaoke, right?
Right.
I mean, they've done it with
why not?
trolls and things like that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Why would I go to Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yeah.
You
So
go to
it's
Rocky
basically
Horror,
the
you
same
expect everybody to sing along.
Yeah.
So why not roll that route and make it an instant cult classic right off the bat?
It's a good idea.
Yeah. I'm here to make money.
Worth trying, yeah.
Let's roll.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's 6:11 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We got a lot to cover in sports here. LSU men's basketball had to go 3 overtimes to get it done, but got it done. We got an almost full slate from the NFL yesterday, minus the New Orleans Saints. LSU women's basketball will be back at it today. And, of course, we'll cover LSU football as well. That's all heading up next, right after this on Talk. Actually, before we break, got to remind you about the folks over at Parish Construction and Roofing. ParishBuilt.com is the website, ParishBuilt.com. Look, you're listening to one happy customer right now. They say do business with someone you know. I decided to do business with someone I know. I hopped on ParishBuilt.com, filled out the little form. They came out to the house, got up on my roof, found where the damage was. Said, Brian, you don't need repair. You need replacement. Walked me through the process with my insurance company, all the way up to helping me out choosing which shingles I wanted. Told them exactly what we were looking for. They paired me up with it. And now I've got a brand new roof. And I got to tell you, it tightens up the house real good. I mean, the one thing I didn't think about was the aesthetic. You think about practicality. You think about making sure it's not leaking. But that added little bonus of, man, that looks good. 364-1007, 364-1007, or parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know at Parish Construction and Roofing. Were you on the list for the LSU men's basketball highlights? No, that's football. Here. Football will be in the 25 segment. I just sent it to you again. Sorry, I thought I asked LSU. I thought I asked all the people in the chat to add you to the list. I'm on the list, so I got it. So that's cool. All right. The email I just sent you. I want 2.2. And then OT 3.3. And then you got the Harbaugh cut I just sent you this morning too? What am I doing? .616 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We got a lot of ground to cover in sports this morning, so let's dive right in. How about 109 to 102 LSU men's basketball taking 1 out of 2 games over there at the Greenbrier in West Virginia. They beat the UCF Knights, Central Florida Knights, in 3 overtimes. Took 3 overtimes to get it done, but this was one where when LSU left to go there, you weren't expecting to win both games. You were playing up a little bit. And remember, if you want to be frustrated by LSU dropping their first game on Friday, just remember, LSU lost at home to Nichols last year. There's room for error, and you get better as the season wears on. And what happened, what went down yesterday shows that this team's got some resilience and got some talent and got some shooters. They were led in scoring by Jordan Sears, who had 25 on the night, including this little gem right here.
Drop step, kicks it out. Bailey won't take the 3, trying to get it in the hot hand. Sears now has it. Johnson playing a little tighter defensively. Doesn't want to give him space. He creates it around the screen and drops it. Sears.
3 straight.
My goodness.
3 straight threes for Sears.
By the way, J.D. Byers on the call. Obviously, Chris Blair couldn't be in 2 places at once. He had to cover football. So appreciate J.D. on the call for the LSU Sports Radio Network. You had Sears with 25 points on the night. Cam Carter had 20. Jalen Reed had 21. And Victorious Miller was good for 16. Victorious continues to be a story that grows here. Jai Bailey also had 14. Those were your Tigers who were in double figures. Tell you what, as you get through the third overtime, let's hear one more from I believe this one's Sears as well.
The shot clock is down to 9. 33 seconds to play. Sears with the basketball. Runs into a player, no whistle. Jump stop. Wild shot. Goes in. Victorious Miller. 5 unanswered. Oh, my goodness. Transition 3. Ivy Curry. He is short. The ball is in the hand of Sears. LSU in the breakaway. Jordan Sears with the right hand. LSU's going to get out of here with a win.
That's always fun. When you go to overtime and everything's neck and neck, when you finally see something pull away by more than 2 possessions, you know you can ice it. Final of 3 overtimes, 109 to 102. Let's move over here real quick from LSU men's basketball to LSU women's basketball. They are back at it today in the Bahamas, no less. I think if you're doing a side-by-side comparison, I think the women win this one. Nassau, Bahamas versus West Virginia. Yeah. Anyway, they got Washington today. I believe 12:30 is your tip-off time. I better be right about that because I'm producing the game. 12:30 p.m. You can hear it right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Moving from LSU women's basketball over to Monday Night Football, it'll be the Harbaugh Bowl right here on Talk 107.3. Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh, you got the Chargers and the Raiders, and Jim Harbaugh says he's ready to roll.
We're ready to roll Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You know, that's how we're attempting to build the team. 1 o'clock game, could be a 4 o'clock game, could be a 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever.
Dynamite analysis, Jim. It'll be a 7:15 game, and you'll hear it right here on Talk 107.3 FM as it's the battle of the Harbaugh brothers. Gotta love a battle within the family leading into Thanksgiving week. Here's the Fox Business Report. Good morning, Christy. Welcome in, sweetheart. All right, so assuming Christy's watching, since she just texted me back, good morning. Woke up to a flat tire this morning, boo. So stole the daughter's car.
I woke up to my driver's side tire extremely low, and that's why I was
Same.
running late. Are you serious?
Driver's side, front driver's side, yeah.
I was running extremely late this morning because of that. I went outside. I'm like,
As was I.
I put air in it, and if it hopefully it holds up. I'm gonna try to
Well,
get it
yeah,
changed.
so I'm gonna need to put air in it, but I can't get it. I gotta.
Yeah.
Oh, Christy, leave the pump at home. She brings the pump with her in her car.
Yeah, wow, that's insane.
But yeah,
I was like, that threw my whole morning off. Like I went outside.
well, first thing I need to see is did I catch a nail, and if I did catch a nail, then.
Yeah.
But this is my third flat tire since buying the car.
Oh dang. Shoot. Yeah. Wow. That's insane.
But it was very convenient that. Oh wait, this is me, huh?
Yeah.
But the kids are off school this week, so
Oh yeah, it worked out.
right. All right, let's head on back to the Chowbell's Tire Traffic Center real quick. Get a look at your streets to start off your morning. We should be pretty light because it is a holiday week. We should be pretty light all week long. So if I'm pulling up the interstates right here, we do have some minor delays. All right, let's start with this. We've got some minor, volume, let's say, not delays. Volume on I-10 westbound as you approach College Drive. Other than that, you've got some spotty volume on I-12 westbound. Where is this at? Oh, it's right around O'Neill Lane. I-12 westbound by O'Neill Lane, you're going to have volume, not delays. It's an important distinction right there because you don't want to change your route as a result of it. So 12 west by O'Neill, 10 west by College Drive. 10 West coming in from Ascension looks great. 10 East coming in from West Baton Rouge looks great. Both bridges are wide open. 110 is wide open. Surface streets, be on the lookout for an accident that happened about 10 minutes ago. It has been moved off the roadway. The Scotlandville-Zachary Highway at Thomas Road. Scotland-Zachary Highway at Thomas Road. That's what is being reported as on BRPD's website. Other than that, oh, wait, hang on. I am seeing some delays on Plank Road out by the airport. If you're on Plank Road headed southbound near, Plank Road and Martin Road, you're going to find some delays right there as well. It's about 2-3 blocks worth, but I'm not seeing an explanation as to why it's there. That's really good traffic from the Shaw Bills Tire Traffic Center. Williams 1, Williams 2, and Kyron Lacey. Basically, the 3 touchdowns is what I want. What a weekend in Southeastern Conference football. If you're a true Tiger fan, you got a sweep right here. Because not only did LSU win, but Alabama, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M all lost. I mean, that's a beautiful thing right there. So let's go ahead and start off with LSU there. We're not going to spend any real time on Alabama, Ole Miss, or Texas A&M. LSU, oh, nuts. I got to go back. I'm on the wrong week. LSU snaps a 3-game losing streak. They get in the win column for the month of November, break all the bad mojo that's been going on as they handled Diego Pavia and the Vanderbilt Commodores on Saturday night. It was only a 7-point victory, but it never felt like this game was in question. It did after the first series. LSU goes 3-and-out. Vanderbilt turns around, and they go up top on the very first play. Kind of made you wonder, like, is this is going to be a rough night because we already know we can't handle a running quarterback. And if they're going to go up top to start things off, now we're going to have to be honest and not cheat up to face that running quarterback, going to give him more room to run. That's not how it played out. LSU immediately responded, and not just responded, but number 18, Josh Williams, earning that number 18 on the next drive, just mans up for just a beastly run from 20 yards out.
Inside the Capital One red zone for the first time tonight. The Tigers struggled in the red zone here in the month of November. The handoff, Williams runs right through 3 defenders into the end zone. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers. Williams from 20 yards out and a point after away from tying this one up. It looked like Vandy had stood him up after about a 3-yard gain, but credit the veteran running back. Never gave up on the play, kept the legs churning, and he finds pay dirt.
So the question then becomes, how do you handle Williams' success on Saturday night? Look, as a lifelong C student, I can tell you that on the rare occasion where I brought home a report card with nothing but A's, I would hope my parents would be proud of me, only to have them come back and say, well, why can't you do this every time? Well, with one more regular season home game to go, I'm trying to lean towards the latter, to where we say, there you go, Josh. That's the Josh we know and love. That's the Josh we want to see, rather than saying, where's this been all the time? Anyway, he wasn't done. Josh Williams would punch another one in from 21 yards out.
2 wide to the left. Daniels, the lone receiver, to the right side. Here's the snap. Give the ball right back to Williams. Sidesteps. Gets free inside the 15, the 10, the 5, and carries a Commodore into the end zone. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers. Great lead block by Mason Taylor. A great cut by Williams once he got beyond the line of scrimmage. Second rushing touchdown of the night for the veteran running back out of Houston, Texas. His 5th rushing touchdown of the year, and the Tigers have their first lead with 51 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. It's 13-7 Tigers with a point after upcoming.
And LSU would not be done with scoring. They would punch it in the end zone one more time. By the way, Josh Williams, 14 carries, 90 yards on the night. He also added 4 catches for 61 yards. I mean, a hell of a night for number 18. Meanwhile, hey, where's Kyron Lacey been? Oh, he showed up Saturday.
First down and 10 at the Vandy 12-yard line. Snap to Nussmeier. Again, very clean pocket. Time in the pocket. Long throw, wide open. Lacey, right corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers. Lacey hauls it in. 8th touchdown of the season, and the Tigers make it 20-10 with 3:32 remaining in the third quarter.
And LSU would go on to win. I'm sorry, hang on one second. Yeah, LSU would go on to win 24-17 from there. The regular season will close out at the end of this week. LSU will be at home one more time, taking on Oklahoma. I'm so looking forward to this matchup, if for no other reason than having Oklahoma in conference. And this would be obviously our first time to play them. But the last two times we've played Oklahoma, at least by my count, the last two times we played Oklahoma, national championships have been on the line. In 2019, we played them in the semifinal. And then in 2003, way back in 2003, that was the national championship game. So it'll be cool to see this just on a conference level. I mean, neither team vying for anything huge. But 6 p.m. over on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. Here's news. Galen, I know, but I've been up and down the driveway 18 billion times looking for nails, and it's just I haven't found any. So I want to check for that first before blaming anybody. But you're right. That was my first thought as well. Someone's going to catch a nail. And I might not be going to get a new tire till tomorrow. Am I? Yeah, it's in the folder. It's the shortened version of what we played on Friday. Troy, I literally watched them drag the magnet across not just the driveway, but the side lawn as well. I watched them do it. It did feel good just to have another car to pivot to, though. I will say that. I feel bad. My daughter's not going to be able to run the streets today, but like, yes, the Mercedes is down. Take the Pathfinder. Leslie says, thank you, Brian, for keeping the community informed of so many critical topics. I will work on the assumption that you're not being sarcastic, and thank you for that. Roofing tax are insidious. Oh, I know. And I'm hoping that's not it. Florida beat Ole Miss. Like, you had to feel better about the Florida loss after Florida beat Ole Miss, right? And then Oklahoma just shut Alabama down. Alabama got robbed of a touchdown, though. I will say that. I think that Ryan Williams catching the end zone that they called the touchdown on the field and overturned it. It looked good to me. But I'm the type of guy that says give points for effort and style. So. Now, see, Byron says invite a party and get somebody else's tire blown out. I'd agree with you, except that, okay, roofing nails are like sand from the beach. It could be 2 months from now and something's just going to pop up. Jeez, do we still have sand in here? Yes, you still have sand in there because the beach sucks. What's up, Rich?
Oh.
I'm going off on you Catholics. Dude, they got a drug test, Pope Francis.
What do you say?
A 15-year-old kid who documented his own miracles that he's a gamer. And he's canonized a saint? Are you kidding me?
Wait,
What in the hell is going on?
is
It
there?
ain't like you got 1,000 villages with torches like the Frankenstein movie. He cured my wife. He documented his own miracles. And he's 15. And he's going to be canonized as a saint. Are you kidding me? What's going on with y'all?
Who is this one? I don't know this one.
Love it.
Oh, yeah, Pope Francis. A 15-year-old kid, he died of leukemia. He's going to be canonized as a saint in April. He documented his own saint.
I wonder if that's the one that my daughter's going to go see. She's
Are
going to.
you kidding me?
Well, she's going to the Vatican.
I said he used to pour me Curacomb in my knee, and I made a lot of kids feel better. I need to be a saint.
You
I'm a
do.
millennial before a baby boomer.
Just play it.
Okay.
Wait, Rich.
No,
Do you know the kid's name is an Italian name?
I got his name written down.
Like the first name sounds French and the last name sounds Italian?
I'm not smart.
My,
Dude,
like Pierre Ferrari or something?
Documented his own saint. The standards are kind of being lowered here.
Somebody else should have to document or at least corroborate the miracle.
Hell, Kelly ought to be coach of the year.
That's beyond miraculous. That's beyond. Yeah.
1980 tonight, I was there at the Dome.
No shit. Okay, you better have that one. Roberto Duran. Rich was there, huh? .637 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Oh man! All right, we got to dive into the special session recap here. A lot of ground to cover, y'all, and this is not going to be done in a segment. It's not even going to be done in a day, because I can tell you right now, we're going to talk with Will Green at 7:35. He heads up LABI, Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. The number one reason for this special session was tax reform. Why do we need tax reform? In the effort to curb out migration is why we need tax reform. There's 100 reasons why people are leaving the state of Louisiana and not moving back in. Our tax policies were among those reasons. I don't know where you would prioritize the tax policies there. I would put crime, education, and insurance all above them. Which, by the way, side note, a little bit of education got worked on in this session, too. As teachers' pay raises, that $2,000 can be permanent now. We don't have to keep rolling it over every year, finding new money in the couch cushions in order to keep our educators paid. But that's neither here nor there. Tax reform was the priority of this session. And as such, you're going to have detractors anytime you try to change anything when it comes to taxes. Hang on, let me finish my thought. I want to be clear. It's a Monday morning. It's a holiday week. Coffee's not even going down yet or kicked in. All right. Teasing out what we're going to be talking about with the special session on tax reform, we got Will Green from LABI coming up at 7:35. How will this affect business in Louisiana? We'll talk about that. Moon Griffon at 8:15. Why did this not go far enough? We'll talk about that. Tomorrow, Louisiana's The head of LED, Susan Bourgeois, going to join us at 8:05. We'll be talking about, as you're the head of economic development, were you given enough put in your arsenal to make sure you go out and sell the state? That'll be tomorrow at 8:05. And then we'll wrap everything up on the special session front. Not wrap it up, but Jason DeQueer from Advantage Consulting. Look, when we need information on tax reform or anything tax-related, we call on Jason with Advantage Consulting. He is the foremost expert, in my mind at least. He's the foremost expert. Everything is laid out for you, explained to you why it's good, why it's bad, or why he's indifferent. We'll have Jason DeQueer 8:15 tomorrow, and then we'll be talking with a handful of legislators as we move on into the month of December to see what the next steps are going to be, because obviously they didn't get everything done. That being said, what did they get done? Well, state income tax is going to drop down. Sales tax is going to go up. It was a handful of years ago, the sales tax had an extra penny tacked onto it, and critics were on the right, not the left at the time. Now that they're putting that penny back on, well, half the penny got knocked back off again. We went from having an extra penny to knocking it down to 0.45 of the penny. They're going to go back up to the penny here. On top of that, your personal income, corporate income, franchise taxes all going away. You heard that soundbite news at the bottom of the hour. Jan Moeller from Invest Louisiana says raising state sales tax will hurt low-income workers.
Louisiana already has the highest sales tax rate in the country, and the legislature at the last minute made the decision to drive that rate up even higher.
So the state's sales tax rate is 4.45%. It's going to go up to 5% starting on January 1st. It was at 5% 8 years ago or 7 years ago. Remember when John Bell Edwards took office and all you could hear about every day was the fiscal cliff, $2 billion deficit. We've got to offset it. We've got to raise taxes to offset it. I kind of want to dig back through all the commentary then to see if the blowback was the same. But at that time, there were threats to cancel LSU football. And we raised taxes. I want to go back through and see if the commentary is the same. When you raise the sales tax, when you put that penny back on, is the commentary the same when a Republican does it as when a Democrat did it? Just curious. Just curious. So it's going to go back up to 5% on January 1st. It will drop to 4.75 in 2030. I'll hold commentary on that one, but let's get to this other soundbite from Jan Moeller, who says he doesn't like the plan overall.
They made permanent changes to the state constitution and permanent cuts to taxes, but that these revenue increases that are supposed to pay for them are temporary.
I've got to rebut on that because you can't make permanent changes to the state constitution from within the state capitol. In order to change the state constitution, we've got to vote on it. So that's going to be coming up in the poll. Oh, well, I need more info on what he's talking about right there, but that's going to be coming up in the polls in March. We're going to have to vote for it. Anything that is constitutionally protected is constitutionally protected. Anything that's statute moves away from the Constitution. So that's a discussion to be had at a later time. But let's flip this around because Jan Moeller is a critic of this, liking the plan, liking what came out of the Capitol. Would be Daniel Erspamer from the Pelican Institute. He says this is a great day for the people of Louisiana.
Lower taxes for every taxpayer, simplify the tax code, repeal the corporate franchise tax, constrain recurring spending, and really lead to a renaissance of economic growth here in Louisiana.
Economic growth is a key factor right there. Now, lowering taxes for everyone, you're going to get pushback on that because it's going to be broken down like this. When you raise the income tax, are you factoring income tax into your tax burden? And it's a good question to ask. I'm sorry, when you raise the sales tax, oh, wow, I messed that one up bad. When you raise the sales tax, is that factored into your tax burden? When you raise the sales tax and lower the income tax, do you look at that as a lowering of taxes or a wash because the sales tax goes up? Is that possibly hurting you more because sales tax goes up? I would posit this. Your tax burden is your income tax, your property tax, and then beyond that, what you choose to spend. If you are investing in the market and want to cash out, those taxes are a choice. If you're going and buying a new boat, those taxes are a choice. Income taxes, by and large, can fluctuate. There are certain things you buy that you have to buy and you get taxed on, and yeah, that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate those are going to go up. But you can choose to spend or not spend in a number of different spots. If you want to tighten up your belt, don't spend, well, then you're not paying extra taxes on it. That's not really good for the economy to tell people not to spend. But if you're just looking at balancing the P&L there, balancing your home budget, you can curb a little bit, you can curtail a little bit. By the way, Governor Landry originally proposed to tax 41 services that are currently not taxed. That bill did not pass. Urs Palmer says the debate over sales taxes is not over yet.
I believe we'll still hear some debate in the regular session about potentially expanding the sales tax base to include other services in order to lower the rate. But that'll be a debate that'll pick back up in April.
Which they need to take a look at these services very, very seriously, because there are some that should be in the mix. There are some that absolutely need to be in the mix. But there's a lot where you're actually going to hinder the economy because they're just going to move off the books. They're either just going to move off the books or they're going to fizzle as a business. So 41 is pretty significant right there. But you had things like pet grooming and lawn care. Lobbyists were in that mix. But let's get back to the crux of the argument here. What was the purpose of the whole session? Lowering our tax burden is great, but why? Why are we lowering the tax burden overall? Because we want to attract new business. And if we want to attract new business, well, companies looking to relocate need to know, like, if we're going to relocate to Louisiana, here are the benefits of doing so. Showing them that number, showing them those numbers should help. In fact, we had the governor on last week, efforting to get him on this week as well. We had the governor on last week. He talked about exactly that.
I hate to talk about these bills individually because they're not individual. They're collectively all one. And the goal, and this is what's important for listeners out there to recognize, and we have the data that shows us. We've got a roadmap that tells us how to be successful. And so the goal ultimately is that this package of bills gets us in the Tax Foundation's ranking of the top 10, or, worst case scenario, in the top 20.
So we move into the top 20, and now you become that much more attractive to other businesses. Then the next question becomes, can you sell it? And later on in that same conversation, the governor said, you lower the personal income tax rate, you lower the corporate sales tax rate, you eliminate the franchise tax, let's look at the inventory tax as well. You give me those things, and I've got something I could sell. And by the way, we're going to talk with Susan Bourgeois about this tomorrow at 8:05. You do those things, and I've got something I could sell. Well, those things right there, he got. All the balancing of the books and stuff, that's all left up to question. We'll deal with that and sift through it. In fact, State Representative Dixon McMakin said last week, he said exactly that. We're going to get a few things wrong along the way, but that which we get wrong, we can correct. Okay, cool. Well, now you're on the clock to correct it. But the question coming out of the session is, you didn't get the entire package. You got the core of the package. Is the core enough for you to sell? It should be. Now go out and sell it. The state legislature will continue to work. They'll continue to make tweaks and changes along the way. But you were given the core of the package. It's up to you to go out and sell it. No, by the way, legislature, you're on the clock now too, to make sure we are making the most of it as a state. It's 6:49 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We got Your Money Now coming up in exactly 1 minute. I got to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. It is Thanksgiving week. Down to crunch time if you wanted some help with your Thanksgiving dinner. Hop on at Mathern's.com, Mathern's.com, whether you wanted to knock out the whole spread or just a couple sides, they've got you covered. But it's good to know now. With the holidays upon us, with Christmas literally 1 month away, if you're mapping things out for Christmas parties, if you're getting your catering done, if you need a little help on that front, if you've been put in charge of the company Christmas party, Mathern's.com has got you covered. Don't make this harder on yourself than it has to be. Hop on the website. Go ahead, fill out the catering menu. Pick and choose what you like. Crawfish cornbread is an absolute steal, by the way. So that's the pro tip. Matherns.com. Oh, by the way, they're downtown on 3rd Street. They're in the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center. And if you've got the Matherns app, you're earning cash towards more groceries every time you shop with Matherns. Reversing. Good morning, Renee. How much doo-doo am I going to catch for saying paying income taxes are voluntary? I mean, paying sales taxes are voluntary. Green. Green. Man, we're going to have to bounce out of Kill Me today to go to LSU women's basketball, which I love LSU women's basketball and all, but Kill Me's got Jimmy Fallon on, and when those two get together and start cutting it up, just chopping it up, it's a good time. It's such a good time. Bummed we're going to miss that. How about the Charlotte airport, huh? Wait until Thanksgiving week to go on strike? I'm sure that's going to play well with the public. You're going to win over everybody there, buddy. I know how that played out. I mean, they got in a room together and said, you know what? You don't just grab them, you grab them by the nuts. We'll have them by the nuts if we do this. But what's going to happen is you're going to lose the sympathy of all the people paid for tickets. Everything I hear the governor, it sounds like... Thank you, Patrick. See, you think he's talking about John Fultz, but he's really talking about somebody else. Am I right? Oh, God. Oh. 6:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Oh, man. All right, we gotta remap the second hour. I just had a cancellation. All right. Let's talk Thanksgiving while we have a minute. You heard this one in news at the bottom of the hour as well. This year, you can host a Thanksgiving feast for 10 for relatively little money. Avery Davidson with the Louisiana Farm Bureau, who I need to get with. He's supposed to come back on the show soon. Avery Davidson says the price of Thanksgiving dinner has gone down this year.
In Louisiana, that's going to cost you, on average, $45.84, which is still $3 lower than it was last year.
By the way, that's more than $12 less than the national average. So here in Louisiana, we're doing a little bit better overall, not just comparative to last year, but comparative to the rest of the nation as well. Davidson says that low cost is spurred in large part by a drop in the price of turkeys.
When you're looking at a 16-pound turkey in Louisiana, you're looking at paying about $15.44 on average. And that's less than what you can expect to pay across the country, where the average price is $25.67 this year.
Well, not to mention, so many grocery stores have gotten creative as well, in that you're not necessarily going, like, for example, if you went and did your Thanksgiving shopping at Mathern's, you were getting 50% off your turkey. Like if you're buying all the rest of the sides and whatnot, if you're buying all the rest of your ingredients, your produce and whatnot, you're getting 50% off your turkey. I think there's another grocery store that's offering a free turkey when you buy the spiral cut honey ham thing. So grocery stores have been getting creative as well. The combating inflation happening before the deflation, I guess, before inflation started curbing a little bit. You couple those two things, and you have marketing, creativity, and ingenuity mixed in with what the marketplace can actually afford. So this is a win this year for consumers. By the way, Davidson says part of the reason for our comparatively low price is the fact that it costs less to transport the goods to your local supermarkets.
We're fortunate here in Louisiana that we have some of the largest ports in the country right here. We also have the Mississippi River that goes through. We have I-10 and I-20 and rail that all come through.
Not to mention, we grow a good bit. Not to mention, there's Louisiana products. Look, and Ag Commissioner Dr. Mike Strain would be, he would walk in here and strangle me if I didn't say it, is that Louisiana certified Louisiana products need to be on your Thanksgiving table. Forget about the transport costs, forget about the ports, forget about the rail, forget about all the other stuff. Talk about your neighbors. Just think about it in those terms. The farmers in Louisiana, those who are growing things or raising things in Louisiana, that's what needs to be first and foremost, not to mention it's just better product, oh, by the way. So if you're making the shrimp and corn soup, use Louisiana shrimp. When you're making those candy yams, use Louisiana sweet potatoes. And for that matter, use Louisiana pecans. Make your praline topper out of Louisiana products. Everything that you're putting together for your Thanksgiving meal, I shouldn't say everything, most of the things you're putting together for your Thanksgiving meal can come from this state. Aside from the cranberry sauce. That one you're still going to have to buy the can, and you're going to pour it out of the can onto the little dish, and it's still going to be shaped like a can. John, do y'all do the homemade cranberry sauce, or you just pour the gelatinous ooze or like just, oh look, it's shaped like a can?
Really not big on the cranberry sauce in the LaBeouf household.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Just not.
What's the biggest side item in the LaBeouf household?
Oh, man, I don't. Probably broccoli and cheese. It seems odd, but my wife makes a killer broccoli and cheese.
Really? All right.
It's a little different,
okay.
But yeah.
All right. So with us, it's going to be the stuffed melitons.
Oh, okay.
But like we were talking to Condon earlier. Man, I miss oyster dressing. You're not getting it anywhere but New Orleans. Man, I miss oyster dressing. All right, we got hit news. Hour two's next. Did I say round two?
It's pretty much round two. On this Monday, it is round two.
Wayne says $45 for the whole thing. That's basically the price of my mac and cheese.
Yeah, it's sort of a weird side, but yeah, broccoli and cheese. Because we basically had Thanksgiving with my side of the family this week. I mean, over the weekend, and yeah, everyone was asking like, "Where's that broccoli and cheese at?" It's like, we got it, man. We've got it. Oh crap! See, when you said someone canceled, I thought it was Will.
Wayne says, Byron, what we're learning is that South Louisiana does food differently. Probably also helps explain obesity rates in South Louisiana, which is why we talk with the good folks over at the Pennington Biomedical Research Center.
Yeah.
ABC News call has no audio available on the Charlotte airport. Oh, might help to spell Charlotte right. There we go. That's the ones I want. Okay, cool. 7:05, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, John LaBeouf producing, getting you ready for a busy second hour of the show today. Thank you for joining us. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you on this holiday week, to be sure. Man, it's always hard to get motivated for a short week. I mean, it's Thursday, Friday. Obviously, we're going to be out on Thursday, obviously, but we take Friday off as well. On Thursday, we hand things off to ABC News nationally. They've got some great Christmas or Thanksgiving programming lined up for you. And then on Friday will be a best of, kind of a look back on some of our favorite interviews over the last couple months. We'll have that all slated for you on your Black Friday if you're out and about doing a little Black Friday shopping, or just staying inside and hitting up your Black Friday shopping online. It's either way, we've got you covered right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Just kind of preview what we got coming this hour. Dr. Taylor Jagneaux with Our Lady of the Lake is our Medical Monday guest. That's going to be coming up in our next segment. And I got to tell you, there are times where it's pre-recorded, by the way. We'll talk with Dr. Jagneaux on Friday. And there are times where I am just floored by the conversation. This is one of those times where we're talking about use of artificial intelligence in the medical world. And this barely scratched the surface. We just ran out of time. So get ready for that. Dr. Jagneaux at 7:15. Will Green, President, CEO of LABI, coming your way at 7:35. What's the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry's take on what just went down at the Capitol? We'll talk with Will there. And then in the last segment of the hour at 7:50, I want to ask this question. You saw the news, or you heard the news, about workers at the Charlotte airport going on strike. It's the Monday of Thanksgiving. Tomorrow, busy travel day. Wednesday, busy travel day, or so you would think. What's your takeaway on those asking for more money? Even if it's a legitimate beef, even if they deserve more money, even if they are underpaid and overworked, they want to hold you hostage during the Thanksgiving week. Are you going to push back to the airlines that are underpaying them, the airport or whatever that's underpaying them, the management company that's underpaying them? Or are you going to push back on the workers who choose now to make you live a real life planes, trains, and automobiles? Let's talk about that later on. Right now, top stories and trending.
Number 5.
Number 5 starts us off with one person. Was that the same story? Number 5 starts us off with one person being shot up in Zachary last night. Our news partners at WBRZ all over this one. One person was shot that dropped off at a Zachary apartment complex Sunday night, hours after the 6 p.m. shooting. Zachary PD told our news partners at WBRZ officers were called to a shooting at a business in the town. While officers were on the way, another call came in that a shooting victim had been dropped off at the Willow Creek Apartments. Police said the victim was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. That's all the information we have on that story.
Number 4.
Tracking this one as well. One person was hurt. We've got an update on it. One person was taken to a hospital after their car was shot up along the interstate on Sunday night. BRPD said the vehicle was shot multiple times on I-110 around 6 p.m. Driver pulled off and stopped on Airline Highway at Beechwood to call for help. This morning, police told WBRZ the shooting happened on I-110 northbound between Evangeline and Airline. The driver was hurt, was taken to the hospital for treatment. We don't have any further information on it.
Number 3.
There's video out there now of the state police have released video of a shooting in which a Department of Public Safety officer shot 2 people inside a vehicle after a 7-mile chase. So state police and the Department of Public Safety Capitol detail officers tried to stop a white Suburban on Chippewa near Daisy after a traffic violation. This happened back on November 4th, by the way. After traveling along I-110 and I-10, the vehicle exited at College Drive, ran into a neighborhood off Baywell Street. State police said the driver, 33-year-old Tyler Pugh, crashed into an officer's unit and then accelerated towards the officer before shots were fired. Court documents show that Pugh has been arrested more than a dozen times in East Baton Rouge Parish, and we're probably going to dig in on this story more as the week wears on.
Number 2.
Because a dozen times, how are you not in jail? The Baton Rouge Metropolitan Airport is preparing for one of its busy Thanksgiving travel seasons in recent years. So nationwide, we're looking at 18.3 million passengers expected to travel from November 26th to December 2nd. Here in Baton Rouge, 10,000 departing passengers is what BTR is prepping for. That is a 16% increase over last year and a return to pre-pandemic levels. By the way, tomorrow and Wednesday will be the busiest days out. Sunday, December 1st is the busiest day home.
Number 1.
Legislators on Friday adjourned their third special session of the year. This one focused on changes to the state's tax policy. 6 bills were passed that will make changes to various aspects of the tax policy, including reduction of corporate taxes, elimination of corporate franchise taxes, and lowering personal income tax as well. Also, standard deductions for seniors have been doubled. $2,000 teacher pay raise is now permanent, and a constitutional amendment giving lawmakers more flexibility to reduce taxes in the future and modernize the tax code. That passed as well. Sorry, John. Sorry. I left a sentence off of that last story right there. The constitutional amendment passed. It has to come to us now as voters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Important point.
Yeah.
Important point.
Yep. Hey, what's trending is President-elect Donald Trump said Saturday that he will nominate former White House aide Brooke Rollins to his agriculture secretary, rounding out his cabinet.
A lot of controversial takes coming from the president. There's going to be a couple of them I don't think he gets at all. So you saw where last week Matt Gaetz, I almost said it bad. Matt Gaetz withdrew. Can't phrase that another way. You'll get a lot of emails. Matt Gaetz withdrew. Rollins is an interesting pick because while not directly connected to ag in her most recent job, she went to Texas A&M, and that A in the A&M stands for agricultural, right? So, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, look at this. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. I don't know why. I like just saying Ramaswamy.
That's good.
Ramaswamy are already getting pushback for what is expected to be one of their worst first recommendations, getting government employees back in person full time.
It's hard for you and I to have sympathy for this because we can't do the show remotely every day. Like,
right.
I can't just dial in my PJs.
Yeah.
You know, we have to come to work every day.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
where's the sympathy there for those who are like, I'm more productive at home? Well, like the Zen Master said, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Time will tell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I want to see is how many people come back to work and tank it when they're back at work. To say, so they can say, see, I told you.
Yeah.
Told you I'm more productive at home. All right, well, your job's been eliminated.
Right. Yeah.
For the output that we're getting, we don't need, not only do we not need you, we don't need the job.
Highly recommend not doing that. You know what else I wouldn't recommend? Singing in theaters. As Wicked hits theaters, AMC has a request for moviegoers. Don't sing along with the songs.
Such a weird request.
It is, but can you imagine?
But you think about it, though. It's not every day that a musical comes out in theaters that, well, first of all, it's not every day that a musical comes out in theaters, but one that is this highly acclaimed from Broadway to make its way over to the big screen.
Yeah.
So the number of people who know all the words to the songs is pretty large, and AMC's telling folks, we're going to kick you out. If you're singing along, you're being disruptive. We're going to kick you out. They paid to hear Ariana Grande sing, not you, which I get.
Yeah.
I totally understand it.
Rightfully so, but to those who are maybe seeing it for the first time, have no idea about what
Correct.
Wicked's about.
Correct.
You don't need a half a theater singing along. That would just distract me.
Yeah.
It would just be,
I don't need like a whole chorus surrounding me.
Yeah.
Who may or may not know the words. I don't need like.
Oh, that's another thing. What if you don't know the words and they're just mumbling along and then maybe every other word they know? But you made a good recommendation last hour, and that was to, you want to.
Absolutely. Why not have a separate showing? Why not have a showing that's for the sing-along? Why not Rocky Horror Picture Show this thing from day one? Why not say, hey, Wicked fans, you know it, you love it, now participate with it? I don't understand why that wouldn't be a thing in a separate theater.
Yeah, lyrics on the screen.
Hell, make them pay a premium.
It's karaoke style.
Yes.
There we go.
Follow the bouncing ball.
That's it.
Why not? Well, I'm here to help. I don't throw out problems without solutions, John. We got solutions.
I see that.
We've got
That's awesome.
solutions.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah. All right, we're running long here. Quick break. Coming back. We got Medical Monday next. We went way too long. This is 15 minutes. So
this one's 15. Okay.
I think so. How long does it say?
Let me get to. Yep. Yeah. 14:58. Yep. So. Cool.
So we're gonna miss ABC News. I lost 30 followers on Twitter over the weekend.
What did you say?
I don't know.
Your weekly checkup. This is Medical Monday, presented by Our Lady of the Lake Health.
Yes, it is time for Medical Monday, and we are diving into the wild world of technology, talking a little artificial intelligence today. Dr. Tanya Jagneaux from Our Lady of the Lake joins us now. Dr. Jagneaux, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. I'm happy to be here. It's one of my favorite topics.
Because it's such a broadening and expanding world, and we've all got so much to learn on that front. I tell you what, can you start off by elaborating on your position at Our Lady of the Lake and the significance of the realm of AI and technology in your field?
Sure. I am a medical director at Our Lady of the Lake. I have advanced training in clinical informatics. My primary training is pulmonary critical care, but I also, love the fact that data can help us take better care of our patients. And I'm also an analytics officer for the system. Most of my work is with our performance improvement and quality team, and also the build of our electronic health record. The goal is to drive high performance, to assist our team members in quality, safety, use the analytics for feedback, make sure that we're hitting all our metrics and having a great experience for our patients. I'm also privileged. Oh, I'm sorry.
No. So I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I participate in research projects with the analytics, and they usually are just tied to many of the research projects that we do at the lake, and that brings in the opportunity from other institutions. What's going on out there in AI that you would see in places that are connected to computer science and data science components of like a major university. And so I think that's one of the more exciting things is that when we partner with institutions that are potentially doing research on collaboratively on our patients, then we can learn about all of the things that they're discovering and potentially even deploy some AI opportunities with that relationship. And then, finally, because we have Epic, our electronic health record, as a partner, I get to sit on the Chief Data Analytics and Population Health Officers Forums and also learn from our sister systems across the country and around the world, actually, about what are great things they're doing with patient care in those areas. And so, as you said, it's really exciting, and it's almost overwhelming to say, where do you start, given the many opportunities that we have to improve patient care.
How varied are these analytics here? Because I feel like, okay, if you're tracking one patient, you can use the past to predict the future to some extent, right? But when you broaden things out, how do you make that application? How do you make it applicable on a personal level?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's probably one of the challenges, and the thing that we have learned is to be specific. If you're looking at prediction or care, really the question for what are you doing and how are you going to measure it needs to be specific, as opposed to what folks are probably very familiar with is you just go ask ChatGPT a question and it's got so much background. But the problem is that it'll fail when you get into really complex thinking, or when you have to put multiple scenarios together that involve complex facts in like a patient scenario, a particular critical illness or a difficult to diagnose illness. So moving forward, you really have to set those parameters and go, what information do we have that we can train and learn from? What are the areas that we can safely deploy the technology and also measure the success? And for that, what I think we see across deploying AI in hospital systems is that there's a preference for doing it through operations first, whether it's just efficiency of workflow, making our team members work smarter and not harder, rather than diagnostics, although it does live there. Facilities that aren't developing and doing research in that area are much more comfortable bringing in AI technology to help with the financial aspect, or just essentially box clicking, reading large amounts of data that are essentially required to do contracting, et cetera. So we have certainly taken that route because it allows us to learn how to use AI when we're getting into the aspect of clinical care. Once you get a familiarity, let's say a self-driving car, and you begin trusting it, then you can move into how is it going to assist our clinicians to make diagnoses going forward. We do have some of that technology deployed. You probably have seen discussions about robotic surgery and diagnostics, and we use AI for imaging We recently acquired status of Comprehensive Stroke Center, and we use AI to rapidly image patients to determine if they're having a stroke to take a very time-sensitive disease and restore function. And so AI helps our radiology team get very fast with making those decisions and pointing out where there are opportunities to take a different pathway with treatment that sometimes requires a very short period of time to deploy. So there's that comfort zone, I think, in what we like to say, summarize this document for me, help me with contracts, help me read what we've said about our patient. So we were looking into applications, and some of which are almost completely deployed to help us with coding the story of the patient. And so we can know that if there are opportunities in complex care, we're capturing the story and appropriately billing our payers for reinvestment into the system. In addition to risk stratification, do we have a sicker population in certain areas? We know we have types of cancer in certain regions. We have a large sickle cell population that has disparities. And so when large language models tell us the story over large numbers of patients, there are trends that we can pick up on to deploy resources and reduce inequities and also improve care. And I think that's one of the really great things about moving into this space is being able to target interventions that can have much more impact than just these broad, let's try harder and do better scenarios.
I know I want to stay on track here, but I've got so many more questions. We've got Dr. Taylor Jagneaux with us, talking about the implementation of AI in the medical world. When it comes to AI, output's only as good as input. So
correct.
How do you manage data collection? I mean, is this put on the backs of the doctors, and how do you accumulate that, which is, from the old school charts and whatnot?
Yeah, and both great question and a challenge. And what we find is we ask of our vendors to deal with what I would say is the dirty data problem. There are things that we call discrete data, where you essentially have numbers. You have a very reliable standard.
Yeah.
You hear this when people talk about interoperability, and then there's just people who are texting, typing, or even using ambient technology, the listening of the story of the patient and the physician having a conversation and being captured. That's the natural language piece. And more, it is on the vendor and or the software application to handle that complexity of data input. And the more you have the data, the more likely you are to reach the ability to handle those messy inputs, because the system can learn where there are certain ways to say something. There are many ways to tell the story about a patient, and over time it can parse and come down to, no matter how many ways you've told the story of a heart attack, it's going to be able to interpret it. So that's part of it, is having both big data and also having models that are trained correctly to have the ability to take in different types of data going forward. That being said, it's always better if we can try to route documentation to facilitate the best outcome. But that's very hard, given how many different team members we have, how many systems we have to deal with. And so we found whenever you try to rely on a few humans to change what they're used to doing and are very good at it, that's probably going to fail or not be sustainable over time. We would rely on the application to handle different inputs and be able to be forgiving when the data is not uniform in input.
Since we're walking down this path, let's bring in some other partners here. Can you talk a little bit about collaborative efforts with LSU and how they're changing the game as well?
Yeah, and that's it's really great to see, because we kind of live in our own world and just know what we know about what's available. But it's great to work with the computer science team, and the provost, Dr. Haggerty, hosts a class with the computer science team and Dr. Gwali. They take students, some of which have no coding experience, and we've been able to participate in 3 semesters where we sort of say, hey, there's this problem or this challenge, build a product to solve it. And, we get to learn with them. I've sat in through several classes and watched them develop these tools, and they help to build a patient education tool for congestive heart failure, where we know folks are very high risk for return to the hospital if they don't completely understand their medication or disease. They help build a sepsis diagnostic tool We have a very robust sepsis research program with a lab test that's been developed locally by Dr. Bud O'Neill. And what's necessary is to tell the story, did the patient have the disease or not? And so the students developed a language model to be able to read records and tell us yes or no to facilitate, that research going forward and expand the use case. And in this semester, our information systems leads are working with the students, again, on that back end, the operations piece, to help us with contracts. And you can imagine how many contracts a health system might have, times where they are, having deadlines and things, and not knowing that can ultimately impact a patient. You get a call and there's this, negative message about being able to do something or not do something. So while it seems to be non-patient related, it usually all is if it's on our operations side. They can just, work to develop this model that tells us, do we have a contract? Is it expiring? Is there, things that we need to do to follow the specifics of it whenever we're looking at payers or vendors, et cetera. And so that's the current one. And it's been both great to get the solutions built, but it's also great to see that we have this pipeline. In fact, we're hiring some of those students who have come through that process to work on our information system team to continue to facilitate development of such technology on our side in the future. So it's a pipeline to keep talent like that here locally, and in addition to bringing their expertise onto our campus to solve problems in healthcare with computer science and AI technology.
Our Lady of the Lakes, Dr. Tanya Jagneaux, is our guest for Medical Monday. Okay, give me the biggest advantage and the biggest disadvantage of walking down this path. Is there anything that y'all are a little bit, timid about approaching?
Yeah, I think what scares people, there's a black box component. You don't know what you don't know, and everyone is aware that AI hallucinates and can make errors. And then, to me, one of the main things, just because we're so far removed from the development of some of these tools, is the ethical component and making sure there's not bias or worsening disparities if it's trained on models that were a different population or whatever went into tweaking the models may unfavorably treat a specific type of patient population. So with our Duke team and doing research, we have been able to participate in what's called Health AI Partnership. That essentially it's a spoken hub type of model that they're developing, so that if you don't have the ability to assess your models, then you can work with partners who have that, so that we are supporting all the way out to rural hospitals who have no resources to deploy this technology. With that being said, the disadvantage is the trust and the expertise, and then the retraining of the individuals who really are going to have to use the technology and take the best advantage of it. So I think there will be some jobs at jeopardy, but more so what I feel is people will have to adapt to what AI brings to their current job. And what we need to do is be sensitive to making sure that our team members get comfortable with it and use it, because the biggest risk to me is to say we're too cautious and we don't want to use it, and then our patients don't get the advantage of AI technology and advancement in healthcare. So it's both, it's a two-edged sword. It's wonderful and it can improve efficiency, but it does require people to change, the way they work and trust in some of the technology, so that we can, what I would say is where we need to have people is at the bedside for care and taking the human skills and optimizing that and not having them participate in menial tasks or repetitive tasks. Let AI do the simple things, but also make sure that we're not missing complex things and bring to the front cognitively all the opportunities to take care of a patient that may be missed while there potentially may be chaos, because humans are trying to do the best with limited resources. So that's a lot, but I think it's a co-pilot, and I hate to use the term, the vendor term, but it is. It essentially is, ride with me, guide me, so that, as a human, I'm essentially helping deliver healthcare, whether I'm a physician, a respiratory therapist, a nurse, in every aspect of my job, and there are essential pieces that only the human can perform, but the AI technology is assisting, so that in the end, the patient gets the best care and the best experience going forward.
We have only scratched the surface, but we are just straight up out of time. I've got to make sure you are back on the schedule in very short order, because I've got 50 more questions for you.
You can tell I love talking about it.
No,
so, anytime you're ready.
Fascinating
I'm
stuff from
on
start
board.
to finish. Absolutely. She is Dr. Tanya Jagneaux, and yeah, unfortunately, we're out of time for this morning, but we'll get you back on very soon to continue this conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh. Just need to take 1 second to talk about how much I love my Axe brothers. So good. The schedule came out for basketball, and I'm coaching my son in 3rd grade, and we got scheduled for December 4th, which is the same night as the daddy-daughter dance, which I'm DJing.
Oh.
So reached out to an Axe brother, said, can we swap? And he just said, yes, absolutely, no problem. I don't have a daughter, so we'd be good to play on that night.
Cool, man.
Yes.
That's what's up.
So now I'm back to only having 3 things on that night, not 4. Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to update the spot because there's only one more chance to tailgate. Uh-huh.
True.
Ooh. Hey, look at that. Playing Words with Friends in the middle of a break. How about that? I just popped up and there was a word in front of me. I don't know why that alert popped up now, though. How's your Thanksgiving week started from a forecast standpoint? Here's WBRZ meteorologist Emma Kate Cowan. Okay. .738 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. So Friday, they called it. They adjourned the special session on tax reform. We're going to have a lot of breakdown on that, and that's going to start right now. Will Green is the president and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. He is on the hotline right now. Will, good morning. Welcome in. How are you?
Brian, good morning and happy Thanksgiving week.
Happy Thanksgiving week to you as well. So are we starting off the Thanksgiving week thankful for what went down in the special session?
Yeah, Brian, I think taken as a whole, the session was a huge step forward for our state as we look to compete and as we look to grow business here, attract more business, retain our top talent, and bring back our best and brightest to Louisiana. And so, yeah, I think that was a huge step in the right direction.
We'll get into some of the individual bills in just a second, but what was it about the session that was the biggest overall win? Because the governor was saying last week or early last week that you shouldn't look at these as individual bills. You should look at them as a whole package. And he wasn't going to get every bill passed, but at the same time, though, the want to pass the bigger chunks, I feel like, is even more valuable than what actually got passed.
Yeah, so remember, we started a few weeks ago being one of 3 states in the country with a corporate income, franchise, and inventory tax. We were the highest. We had the highest corporate income tax rate in the South, higher even than New York City, and so now, only a couple of weeks later, we were able to significantly reduce our corporate income tax rate. We're now not the highest in the South. I think we're lower now than Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee. I think we're now tied with Florida, and that's incredibly important because, again, those are states that we compete with for jobs and for talent. We were able to lower our state's income tax rate, and that's incredibly important as we lower it and eventually look to phase it out. Other states are doing that as well. And again, you're seeing Arkansas, Mississippi, Texas without an income tax, Florida without an income tax. Again, these are states we're looking to compete with for investment in jobs and talent. And then on the inventory tax, there was a plan put in place to try to give the parishes the tools they need to potentially opt out of the inventory tax. And remember, the inventory tax, Brian, we've talked about it before. That is a tax that is levied at the local level, and then businesses that pay that tax at the local level can go to the state and get a credit for that. And so in this session, there was a lot of tools that were given to locals to encourage them to opt out of that tax in order to replace that revenue.
We'll walk down that path in just a second as well. We're talking with Will Green, President and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. LABI is your state's Chamber of Commerce. Check them out at labi.org. So giving the locals tools to giving the locals tools to manage better, I think was a big play here, because this is one of the things that you and I have talked about repeatedly, Will, is that, like, we're a very state-dependent state in terms of our municipalities either lean on the state government a whole lot or are forced to lean on the state government a whole lot. What's that going to look like moving forward with this, as I'm hoping just the opening pitch towards momentum here?
Yeah, so in House Bill 7, we added, or the legislature added, business inventory as its own property classification in the Constitution at a 15% assessment ratio. And then it allowed the parish governing authority to elect to reduce that actual ratio if they want to. Mm-hmm. It also, in House Bill 7 and in the companion House Bill 11, it allows the locals to opt out of charging the inventory tax. So it gives them that decision and gives them that flexibility. And if they do, then there is a fund set up at the state level to give the locals a certain amount of dollar, depending on what their current inventory tax level is, to try to replace some of that revenue. And so the hope is, while we would have loved to have seen a full, obviously, repeal of the inventory tax, we're one of 9 states that levies that uncompetitive tax. This is a step in that direction, and we hope that with all the other tax changes and with some of the solutions and tools that were put into place, that the locals will start to wean off of that uncompetitive tax as a means to budget for the needs that they have at the local level.
Now, that being said, though, it is more than just a foot in the door in order to allow the locals to opt out.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's huge. To me, that is huge. Can we talk for just a quick second about HB 3 that is eliminating the corporate franchise tax? Will, I think this one might be my favorite of the whole session because it's just so cut and dry. The state just said no more.
Yeah, so I think you're right. I mean, I think if you're looking at the package as a whole and you're trying to narrow down, what is going to be probably the biggest win to attract businesses and to grow businesses here, it has to be House Bill 3 repealing the corporate franchise tax. Mm-hmm. We were one of, I think, 15 states in the country that still levied a franchise tax, and it was, it was a tax on without regard if you'd made any profit. And so it really was a harmful tax and an uncompetitive tax. And we're really, really excited that the governor and the legislature and leadership prioritized this. And House Bill 3 did eliminate that tax beginning January of 2026. So that's great. Yeah,
no, absolutely. It's one of those ones where, look, you and I have had a discussion, I don't know, 18, 19 million times about we're on an island with those who charged it in the first place. We're what was it, one of 2 or 3? And at the end of the day, it was all we were telling businesses here is if you want to do business here, this is a cover charge.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and again, it was levied without regard for profits or
right.
It was just basically, hey, you want to come here and open your doors and as an opportunity to do that, here's this uncompetitive tax. And so that was something that we focused on a long time as something we needed to get rid of. It was in our LA driven plan, sticking out along with the inventory tax as where Louisiana is uncompetitive. And so to the extent we could get rid of that, that is a huge, huge step forward for Louisiana.
We're talking with Will Green, President and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, getting a recap on the special session that was. Will, can we take a look at HB 2? That's the one that lowered the corporate income tax. You ran down the states that we're now incompetent or more competitive with, but what's it going to take to see the implementation of this hit home with businesses who might be eyeing us up?
Yeah, so what we said earlier, Louisiana had a gradual. Not only did we not have a flat rate, we had a graduated rate that topped out at 7.5%. And so what you're seeing a lot of states move towards is single rates because they're simple, they're better for state revenue forecasting and also business forecasting. And for that reason, so that businesses can budget better with a single rate and the state can budget better. Mm-hmm. A lot of states are moving to that single flat rate. And so not only did we lower the corporate rate from the top end at 7.5% to 5.5%. We also flattened it to one rate, and so those were two huge things that the legislature did this year. And now we are no longer the highest corporate income tax rate in the South. We are now, incredibly competitive with our neighboring states like Mississippi, lower than Alabama, lower than Georgia, on par with Florida and these other states that again we're trying to compete with. And so again, huge step in the right direction to not only grow our corporations here but also attract investment from out of state.
When looking at the corporate income tax rate, is there a way to determine how much that weighs to a business who's looking to relocate?
Yeah, look, you talk to Susan Bourgeois, our Secretary of Economic Development.
Tomorrow at 8:05. Yeah.
Well, look, I think you're going to find that when she was going out to try to talk to businesses to pitch them on Louisiana, one of the first things that they got to was our how high our corporate income tax rate was, and they really that was really a disincentive to come to Louisiana. And now she's got that talking point to go out and say, look, we're no longer the highest, we're more competitive. And I think you're going to find that was going to be a huge tool for her to bring business to Louisiana.
We got about a minute and a half left with Will Green, President and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Will, I got to ask you, and I know this is early, it just ended on Friday, but this is the lowering of the corporate income tax, elimination of franchise tax, lowering and flattening of personal income tax. This is all about lowering the cost of doing business and lowering the cost of living. So what are the next steps on those fronts?
Well, in addition to that, we expanded the tax base to include digital goods, and so that was a positive as well. And so again, all this was to move us forward, to make us more competitive. And so moving into the regular fiscal session coming up, I think what you're going to see us try to do is push for a full repeal of the inventory tax, push for a centralized collection mechanism. Brian, we've talked about this over and over. We're one of two states in the country that doesn't have a centralized sales tax collection system. And then I think take a step back and see, what was the ramifications a little bit more of the past couple of weeks. And we'll know that a little bit more going into to the regular fiscal session coming up in a few months. But overall, like I said, I think as a whole, we took a huge step forward for our state. And we're absolutely today more competitive than we were a couple of weeks ago.
Gotta love to hear it. He is Will Green, President and CEO of LABI. You have yourself a great Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Brian. You too.
Always. 750. Here's your money now. Oh, man. I'm sorry. He gave the wrong answer on that last one. The right answer was insurance reform. The right answer was insurance reform. That's it. Okay, I got to forward you a couple of sound bites that I probably should have done instead of, well, I was working on something during Medical Monday that was very, very pressing. Search it up. Dorothy Griffon. Who is Dorothy Griffon? Dorothy Griffon is who is Dorothy Griffon? this. Shabba-dabba-doop. John LeBoeuf. 3 cuts. I'm going to start with We Mean Business. I'll tell you right now. Be fair to workers. Ooh. .756 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Nowhere near done, y'all. Thanks again to Will Grain for breaking down the legislative session with us a little bit. We're going to pick that conversation up with Moon Griffon in our next hour. Also next hour, I'm super duper looking forward to this. The Belle of Baton Rouge Hotel and Casino is already taking reservations. You've been seeing the work being done right there downtown Baton Rouge. And opening up, or reopening, I should say, is on the horizon. We're going to talk with their general manager, Bruce Woods, before we get out of here. He'll be at 8:35 this morning. Right now, though, we got a couple minutes till news at the top of the hour. I want to ask you this. When you see workers fight for higher wages, better conditions, and the like, what does it take for them to earn your sympathy, earn your support? Conversely, can they lose your sympathy and lose your support based off of their tactics? I want your feedback over at our Facebook Live feed. We'll We're live on Facebook, Talk 107.3 FM's Facebook page every single day. Would love to hear your take on this, as the Charlotte airport is on strike right now. Charlotte Douglas International Airport. Now, not the whole thing. Service workers have gone on strike to start off Thanksgiving week to protest what they say are unlivable wages. Employees of ABM and Prospect Airport Services, they cast their ballots on Friday to authorize the work stoppage that started this morning. So officials with Service Employees International Union announced the impending strike in a statement earlier today, saying their workers would demand an end to poverty wages and respect on the job during the holiday travel season. ABM and Prospect Airport Services contract with American to provide services including cleaning airplane interiors, removing trash, and escorting passengers that are in wheelchairs. So they're looking at right now a 24-hour strike, but, I mean, this is the front end of the Thanksgiving week. Is this the right time to be doing this? I tell you what, we'll talk about that in just a second. Let me give you a little bit of insider perspective here. Dorothy Griffon is one of those airport workers. Talk about the 24-hour walk-off. In commenting on casting her vote, which she did on Friday, she talked about, hey, look, it's time to stop messing around and taking them seriously.
We mean business. We're not just playing with you saying we're going to strike and just, y'all not going to do anything. We want them to know that we're going to do it, and we're going to do it as long as it takes.
Now, according to the Associated Press, this is not the first time they've brought up these grievances. They've been asking for this for some time now, and it's just gotten to the strike today as a last resort. Griffin says that they need to be fair to their workers.
We want to let them know that without us, they cannot make it. So if it comes to a standstill, it's not our fault. It's your fault for not being fair to your workers.
Okay, but why now? That's my big question, and that's what I want to know over on our Facebook feed. What's your feedback here? Is if this was not your first time airing these grievances, why didn't you walk out in the middle of August? Why didn't you walk out in September? One more from Dorothy, talking about needing respect to go along with that higher wage.
We're not treated fairly. We're not paid fairly. We're not respected in our jobs of what we do, and we just want higher, more wages and a little respect.
Is that going to be earned by walking out on the busiest week of the year or the first day of the busiest week of the year? Let's talk. No right answers, wrong answers. Let's just talk over on Facebook Live. Hour 3 is next. It is my contingent that this isn't going to work for them. Number one, it's a 24-hour walk-off. They don't have the leverage here. And I will say this, though. If they were to do this at another time of year, I would totally have their backs because people are awful to them. What's up? People are awful to them. I would love to see them get a little bit more respect along the way. More so the women work, the men and women working the desk than the men and women cleaning the plane. I can give two poops about them. But we got our first take. Oh, Galen says, the strong arming is why I don't like unions. Of course, the timing works best for the union, right? I'm with you, Galen. Uh-oh. Condon's here, cavorting. kidding me? Strong arming, yeah. All right, but let's walk down the path, Galen. If they can't strong arm, like what leverage do they have? My thing is like you picked this week on purpose. (806) Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian, here with you. John LaBeouf producing, getting you ready for a busy hour this hour as well. We've been rolling so far. Asked a question heading into the break. Wanted to repeat that question now. Service workers at the Charlotte airport are going on strike today, or they're on strike today. 24-hour walkout. They're expected to be back at it tomorrow, though we'll see how that plays out. They want higher wages, better conditions, and they want respect. And I'm asking for your feedback over on Facebook Live, which we're already getting some great answers over here. But I'm asking for your feedback over on Facebook Live. And that is, does a move like this earn your respect? The case for the Charlotte workers is that they've been asking for this for some time. Not their first time to air their grievances. So I would turn that back around and say, why do you wait till Thanksgiving to go on strike? Well, I think it's pretty obvious. We know why you wait till Thanksgiving to go on strike, and that's because, hey, it's the busiest week of the year at the airport. You want to send shock and awe, right? But my question is, does that get you your desired result? The folks that come through that airport, whatever problems they have, whatever inconveniences they have, Is that going to be pushed back on the airline, or is that going to be pushed back on the workers who went on strike? Do the airlines garner more sympathy by saying, hey, look, we're doing the best we can. Our workers decided to walk out this week of all weeks. We could have handled this at any time throughout the year, but they picked now to make sure that things are jammed up as possible. Let's get your feedback over on Facebook Live. In the meanwhile, we got Moon Griffon coming up later on this hour. We got Bruce Woods, the general manager of the Belle of Baton Rouge, coming up later on this hour. We start this hour with This Day in History. All right, John.
All right. Starting off in 1905, Telemco, creates the first ever advertisement for a radio set.
No kidding.
Yeah, with an ad for $8.50.
All right.
Guaranteed to work up to 1 mile.
Really?
So, yeah. Come a long way since then, haven't we?
A little bit.
The first Thanksgiving parade today, 1920, in
Hey!
Philadelphia.
Really? I just assumed that Manhattan. I assumed the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade was the first one.
You'd think, huh?
You would think.
That's where it is now.
You would think, yeah.
Yep. Today, 1960.
Hang on. How was today the first Thanksgiving Day Parade? It was just a Thanksgiving parade in general?
I'm just a messenger. That's
Okay,
all it.
but it's not
that's literally all
Thursday.
it says. I know.
Today's not Thursday.
First Thanksgiving parade
All
in
right.
Philadelphia.
Whatever.
What if it changed throughout history?
What, Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah.
So, no, there is something to that, but I think it was finalized. Was it Lincoln narrowed it down to the fourth Thursday?
Oh.
I'm not remembering. It's off the top
Yeah.
of my head. I don't look that stuff up till we get closer to the day.
Right. 1963 today, JFK is laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery.
Oh, wow.
Yep. 1976, O.J. Simpson gains 273 yards for Buffalo versus Detroit. So.
Nope.
There's that.
Leaving all those punchlines on the sideline. Nope.
Yep. Hey, 1979, speaking of football, Pat Summerall and John Madden broadcast a game together for the first time, a pairing that lasts 22 years and becomes one of the most well-known partnerships in TV.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right,
Today.
now I want like a side question over on Facebook Live. Yeah, I want to talk about the unions and the strike, but is there a better duo? Is there a better duo in the history of broadcasting than John Madden and Pat Summerall?
Indeed.
It's mostly just asking people to make fun of Gary Danielson and Vern Lundquist. But is there a better duo than John Madden and Pat Summerall?
Oh, man. Hey, 1997, U.S. telephone technician Richard Bliss arrested for spying in Russia.
Okay.
Yeah. You were talking about musicals earlier and talking about Wicked. 2013 today, Disney releases Frozen.
No kidding.
That was one of those movies that had,
all the songs. Absolutely.
all the songs. But also they had, I think, different showings where there were sing-along versions and things like that.
Okay.
I think that was one of those. Let's see. 2019, Baltimore's second-year quarterback Lamar Jackson becomes the first QB in NFL history to throw for 3,000 passing yards and rush for 1,500 yards in his first 2 NFL seasons as the Ravens beat LA Rams.
And you'll hear Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens right here on Talk 107.3 FM tonight as they take on the Los Angeles Chargers. It's Harbaugh versus Harbaugh. Your home for Monday Night Football is Talk 107.3.
Yeah, 2020, Caitlin Clark makes her first collegiate debut for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Yeah.
Recording 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists against Northern Iowa.
All right.
Anything else on today?
No.
All right. Let's see. Birthdays here. Actress.
Wait, no, you missed out. Yeah, this day in 1980. This
There we
day
go.
in
What?
1980 in the New Orleans Superdome. The No Mas fight.
The No Mas.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yes. Roberto Duran. It was
Condon was saying he was there.
Condon said he was there. I was 4. So, yeah, it was Roberto Duran versus Sugar Ray Leonard. Billed as the super fight and became the No Mas fight because, well, Roberto Duran said no mas. So, yeah. It was Tuesday evening, November 25th, 1980. And it was hang on. Yep, in the New Orleans Superdome. Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran had first fought on June 20th, 1980 in Montreal. And then this was the rematch of that, which became widely known as, it was a world-famous fight for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Moving on to birthdays here. John F. Kennedy Jr. today.
Okay.
Yeah. Actress Christina Applegate.
Yeah.
Let's see who else we got.
Why do I not have?
Also
right,
have Carl Benz today.
As in Mercedes-Benz?
Mercedes-Benz. Yes.
It's not John F. Kennedy Jr.'s birthday. Oh, Junior. John F. Kennedy Jr.
Yep.
Sorry.
Makes all the difference.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Bro, birthday and had to lay his dad to rest on that day.
It's terrible. Yeah, that's why I let it sit for a second. I'm like,
yeah.
Let's think about that for a second. Oof. Terrible.
Uh-huh.
Looks like singer, Amy Grant today. Joe DiMaggio as well.
Yep.
And, yeah.
All right.
A bunch of TikTok stars. Should we name them?
We don't need to name TikTok stars. I'm kidding. Unless it's Justin Danger Nunley. If he's in that mix, we can name him.
Oh,
Older millennial might make that mix too. But outside of that, whatever. Okay, so I got a couple more birthdays to add to that list. You had Christina Applegate, who I think every 48-year-old man wants to celebrate a birthday. But also you had, darn it, I hate the way this website's mapped out. You had Andrew Carnegie, was born on this day in 1835. Wanted to add him to the list.
Oh, nice.
Couple of deaths are worth noting for sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Start off, Fidel Castro.
Yeah, Fidel Castro died on this day in 2016. Yep.
That's a big one.
Uh-huh.
What else we got?
We've got Diego Maradona, an Argentinian soccer player, known for the Hand of God goal. I only know about him as my buddy Jared Broussard taught me all about him. He's an amazing Diego was just ridiculous. The highlight reels and whatnot, very much worth going back and looking at. But yeah, Diego Maradona died on this day in 2020. You got any more?
This day in 1998, Flip Wilson.
Flip Wilson I had too. Yep.
As far as notable,
that is it.
That's pretty much it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. What national day do you got today?
Play Day with Dad.
Play Day with Dad.
That's cool.
All right.
Dads out here.
Okay.
Taking that extra time with you kids.
Why not? It's 8:15 to Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We are due up for a quick break. Let's get Moon Griffon's take on the recently closed session. That'll be next. Oh! Oh, I hope not. Don't sweat it if not. Call him again. Shouldn't salaries be determined by the economic laws of supply and demand and not extortion? In other words, if the airport can hire replacements to do the current workers at the current labor rate, why would you give the current workers a raise? Damn good question. In a sane world, that would be true. Ori says, good luck in trying to replace the workers. Have you experienced how hard it is to find good employees these days? Yeah, no, and corporate greed is a real thing. Both of these things are real, but more than one thing can be true at a time. And what I'm saying is if you had grievances in May, June, July, August, whatever, like if you were going to take it to this level, you weren't going to take it to this level at that time because you wanted to prove a point. And that's what I'm saying. This is going beyond grievance at this point. Ori says, since their grievances weren't taken seriously in the past, this is the perfect time for a strike. I would argue the respect isn't what they really want. I will go out on a limb and say they want to be heard and valued. Well, valued and respected would be the same thing, wouldn't it? Anyway, let me continue. Of course, those that hold the purse strings won't take them seriously until it affects them in a big way. So kudos to them on the strike. I'll continue on that in a minute. Hang on. 818 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. All right. Oh. Session concluded on Friday. Let's get your takeaways on it, or continue to get takeaways on it. Moon Griffon joins us now. He's the host of the Moon Griffon Show, which you can catch weekdays 9 to 11 right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Moon, how are you, brother?
Man, I'm doing great. I heard that as of Friday, people were actually doing the Trump dance in the legislature. I don't know if there's any truth to that, Ron, but that's what I hear.
Well, if they're doing it in the NFL, they're probably doing it in the state legislature as well.
Yeah, I tell you what, Trump might make him break dance if he does what he wants to do with government and start cutting spending like he needs to.
Yep.
My question has always been, what are governments, Louisiana included, going to do if the federal government does what I think they ought to do? One of the big things they can do, Brian, is cut money to the state, and I think you're going to see it. I heard the president-elect and former president say, and we're going to start just doing a lump grant to states like Louisiana. Instead of all this money coming in to the local and state and all that stuff, just take it all. We're going to send you X amount of dollars, and good luck. Use it wisely. And if that's the case, I'd like to know what's going to happen with the state of Louisiana's budget, because that would change everything we've always felt like. Because what if they cut 15%, Brian?
Right.
I mean, you're talking about making adjustments like, man, if people will be freaking out. But by the way, we need some of that. We need to be freaked out a little bit, because federal government can't keep running up debt, selling our debt, because when our debt can't be sold anymore, we in big trouble, baby.
No, I completely agree on that front. And for a state that likes to, talk about being self-sufficient, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, we are wholly dependent on the federal, not wholly, but greatly dependent on the federal government to make sure that everything stays balanced at the end of the day.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I'm just bringing that up because I know the session ended. As far as the take on, I'm going to say that it's hard for me to tell. The governor's touting it. I don't blame him. I thought it was a big win for him. I think there's a lot of people in the legislature that went along. They felt like it definitely is not hurting us. I think some people thought it was the old step in the right direction. And I think, as always, with any of these so-called changes in programs, and a lot of things are being tossed out there, how great things are going to be, I'm just going to say I hope they're 100% right, Brian, because we need it. I don't know if everybody knows exactly what they passed. The governor's bragged about the biggest tax cut ever. I think he's got some merit there, because we have never really cut taxes in the state of Louisiana. But on the flip side, it's one of the biggest tax increases, too, if you want to play the game, because it's like $1.3 billion or $1.1 billion tax increase on the sales tax for 5 years. So that's what I'm saying. I'm excited for the governor. I'm excited for the state if all that comes true. And I want to stay hopefully optimistic, so that's what I'm buying. I'm hopefully optimistic that we did do something more than a step in the right direction. How about that? Is that a good con out for answering the question?
No, but you're spot on, though, because until we know the math. Look, Moon, taxes are one thing, but this is about reducing, if you're looking to recruit more business, this is about reducing the overall cost of doing business. If you're looking to do right for the people in the state of Louisiana, I don't care where I'm taxed. I just want to be taxed a little bit less. I want to reduce my cost of living as well. So taxes are just the vehicle to get us to the destination. The destination is lowering our cost or lowering the business cost. So we do need to do the math to see if first of all, I think you and I could both agree, eliminating the corporate franchise tax feels like, in hindsight, a no-brainer. This was an absolute slam dunk and should have been.
Yeah, I agree. I just listen. I think the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah.
And I hope, and I'm gonna just take the governor's word that everything he's saying is true, and then we're gonna sit back. And he even told me on the program, hold us accountable, and don't worry about that. I plan on it. I know you do too.
Yep.
But I want to go with everything the governor said and say, okay, we headed in a direction that we've never been. I think a lot of those claims can be made because we've never tried anything like this, not at all. I do believe when it comes down to it, Brian, I hate to jump a step ahead, but we're almost in December, so we're going to be back in the regular section. We'll be back in the next year, new president. You're going to have to look up next year and say, when will we do something with car rates and liability insurance? There's going to be a reckoning with the governor and the trial lawyers. We're going to have to get the trial lawyers in on the same page because we can't keep paying these same insurance rates. And I think that, among inflation, is bigger than what we just did. And I think those two things are going to stick around. And that's my concern about it. That's all.
Okay, so that's exactly what I was talking about there. Is whether you're talking about taxes or something else, it's about lowering the overall cost of doing business and lowering the overall cost of living, because insurance is going to be the next big chunk to come out of that. So if you're talking about taxes, that's one, and pardon the pun, one vehicle along the way. We got Moon Griffon with us. He hosts the Moon Griffon Show weekdays 9 to 11 right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Hey, Moon, you know what I noticed with some of the takeaways over the weekend when they're going back to that full penny, the penny that got knocked down to 0.45 and was supposed to go away, and now it's back up to the full penny. Man, there's a lot of critics of going back to that full penny that we didn't see were critics when John Bell Edwards passed it originally.
I kind of did a little study on that, Brian, and I'm one of the first ones to bicker about it. I first one saying, oh, crap, this sounds like John Bell Edwards. The difference was he cut taxes to offset the penny. Right. John Bell Edwards raised the penny on a lie, and I'll say it proudly. It was never a $2 billion budget deficit. He made that up with Jay Darden. It was about $1.1 billion. They wanted to spend an extra $900 million, so they came up with the old $2 billion. So he took it and spent every penny, okay? And at least we got a tax cut to somewhat offset it, okay? That's the difference in it, Brian. One was done because, we've done a $2 billion budget deficit, and that was a lie. This right here at least has something to offset it. Would you agree that's the big difference?
Oh, no, 100%. My take here, Moon, is like when we put on that penny 7-8 years ago, whenever it was that it was first implemented, where was all the wailing and gnashing of teeth that this was disproportionately bad for poor people? Like when the penny originally went on, we didn't see all these arguments that we saw over the weekend, this weekend.
No, Brian, it's funny that you said that because Bell Edwards was passing it and he got the Democrats to vote for it. Mm-hmm. They always bickering about the 1 cent poor people. They didn't say a word. I remember back then saying, well, why ain't y'all bickering about this 1 cent sales tax? I was using that as an argument.
Right.
And, that was a while back. And I just said, why in the world aren't y'all bickering? It's going to hurt the poor. Not a word, not a peep, because Bell was doing it. And here's the other thing. They knew what Bell Edwards was doing was going to spend that money and another almost $1 billion to play with. And that's what then he came back and added the 0.45, which I think never need to be added on the books. So, by the way, Brian, here's another telltale. Why we only did it for 5 years? I mean, we did it for a penny for 27 months, a 0.45 for 7. Now we're doing 5 more years. Brian, when you add it up, that's about 14 to 15 years. There ain't no temporary tax. It's a permanent tax. Nobody's going to get rid of it because we can't seem to get rid of a tax once we put it on the books.
That brings us around to the constitutional amendment that was passed. Do you think this thing stands a chance when it goes to the polls?
Well, let me just say this. If you look at it, if businesses really won, like they say, with the franchise tax and things of that nature, and the governor's got plenty of money, going to have plenty of money to push it, how are you going to beat it? It's going to be very difficult to beat unless there's a organized effort to get the people to go vote against it. Remember, in March, everybody's not going to the polls.
Right.
They just not. I mean, I'm going to make a fishing trip myself, good Lord willing. But what I'm saying is, I don't know how they're going to beat it. Now, I think Jeff and the business community if they put all that money behind it, who's going to beat it? The trial lawyers. I mean, we don't even mention trial lawyers in this event. So I don't think they can beat it now. But I may be wrong, and maybe something will come out. You know, sometime in these bills, we find out, and I always say this, you got to wait months after stuff is passed to find out what's in the bill. And I still believe that. So if something pops up in January, February that's really not that good and it gets talked about and pushed out there, then you can have a problem at that point. But you better have some money because there's going to be money to pass. I'm just telling you, there's going to be a lot of money to pass.
We got about a minute and a half left with Moon Griffon, host of the Moon Griffon Show, right here at 9 to 11 a.m. weekdays, and, of course, statewide as well. All right, Moon, got to ask you, it is Thanksgiving week. What's the Thanksgiving spread look like in the Griffon household?
Oh, my God. I think we got I'll tell you, I'm doing a spiral cut ham. That's my job. Everybody's bringing something. We got a big family. I know there's 2 or 3 turkeys. I think they fry one and they smoke some. And my mom always makes, and I don't know how this got started, but it's probably typical Cajun type or South Louisiana, should I say. She will have a crawfish bisque. Now, my mom is old school. She's 88, still gets around, does well. I'm talking about the crawfish bisque where you stuff them in the head and you make the crawfish bisque to put over rice. Most people just do the crawfish balls now. She's going to do the bisque, and they'll be every side out under the sun. But that's about the wildest we'll get is about a crawfish bisque.
Okay. I mean, crawfish this time of year, that's a strong find, to be sure.
No, it's good. It's all good, and everybody will be in. We always have a good time. We got a family that, like most families, love to get together. Don't get together as much as we like to, so it's always a fun time for us.
All right, last one before I get you out of here. Are politics off the table for the Griffon Thanksgiving?
Brian, I got to tell you, at my house, it's a wide variety of things we'll talk about, and there's nothing off the issue. By the way, most of my family's all real conservative, so there's usually not a political fight at our house.
Fair enough.
Hey, Brian, I got them all straight.
It's got to work on the rest of the state now. Moon, we always appreciate the time, brother. You have a great Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you next week.
You too. Happy Thanksgiving. God bless to you and all your audience.
Likewise, absolutely. We got news coming your way in just a little bit. All right, we're done with the special session for today. We're going to dive back into it tomorrow. We got Secretary of Economic Development Susan Bourgeois joining us at 8:05 tomorrow. We got Jason DeQueer right after her, so we'll be all up in the thick of it. Don't forget, Talk 107.3 and Citizens Bank and Trust are bringing you the ultimate holiday gift with our Home for the Holiday sweepstakes. Imagine 2025 with your rent or mortgage covered up to $18,000. We're here to make your holidays a whole lot brighter. Just sign up at talk1073.com, and you can be living stress-free next year. Presented by Citizens Bank and Trust. Okay. I'm going to need your help to get out for 8:50. I need your help to get out for 8:50. Oh. I don't like catching anybody on a hot mic. So come on, is your chair here? I don't want to catch anybody on a, surprised hot mic or whatever. Like, I try to remember ahead of time every time. Yeah. So even during breaks, it's like, especially during breaks, the show behind the show kind of thing. So. Every time they say falling price of turkeys, all I can think of is falling turkeys and WKRP. Is our video feed frozen? Or is it my Facebook? Hang on. Yeah, no, we're good. Wait, are we? Yeah. No, but Bruce is not even in the frame. Can you move it? Thank you. Not just 7-4, but crushing the swag. Southern's good this year. You have a sports book as well?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Is it also connected to DraftKings?
No, it won't be.
You know who it is?
No, we haven't made that decision yet.
Okay. Let's get you pull up just a little bit. Yeah. All right. And it's time to get a look at your Thanksgiving week forecast, and pulling that up right now real quick. We're actually starting off today getting a little bit warmer. Your high is going to be up to 81 degrees today. We do have about a 35% chance of rain in the mix for today. Overnight low will get down to 59 degrees. Tomorrow we're going to top out at just 71, then get down to 55. Wednesday, right back to 80 with an overnight low of 64. Now, Wednesday and Thursday, we're looking at about a 45% chance of rain both days. That will cool things off, though, because your high on Thanksgiving Day is just 68, even with the showers. Overnight low down to 44. Friday, high of 59. Game day Saturday when Oklahoma comes to town, high of 61. Right now, we're partly cloudy and 68 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. 8:38. Well, it's still 8:37. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Love when we can change the face of downtown. Love when we can revitalize things downtown. 242 new hotel rooms are coming back to downtown Baton Rouge in very short order. In fact, I saw the headline, bookings are now available for the fully remodeled Belle of Baton Rouge Hotel. Want to welcome into the studio the general manager of the Belle of Baton Rouge Hotel. That would be Mr. Bruce Woods. Bruce, how are you, sir?
Doing very well, Brian.
Glad to have you on here. Glad to be talking about this because this is something that we've all been keeping an eye on to see, like, it's on its way back to life, on its way back to just reinvigoration here on France Street. So tell me what the plans are. Tell me what folks can expect when they hop on to make their reservations.
Yes, Brian, thanks for having me. And, yeah, we're real excited about the project that we're doing downtown Baton Rouge, renovating the Belle Hotel and as well as bringing our casino landside. So, like you mentioned, we're going to have a 242-room hotel that is basically going to be a brand-new hotel. We've renovated it by taking it down all the way to the studs. So it's actually going to be like it was just recently built. But it's going to be a total of $141 million project with the 242 rooms, a 25,000 square foot casino entertainment complex that's going to have restaurants. It's going to have a bowling lane. It's going to have a sports book. It's going to have some cocktail lounges with casual and fine dining. So we're real excited about that project.
This is a huge injection of revenue into this project here, all going into primarily, let's say, moving the casino onto land. That's not a small endeavor, to be sure. Now, in the meanwhile, there's kind of a temporary land-based setup.
Yeah, it sure is, Brian. And we recently brought our casino off of the river into a temporary facility in the old Shucks building, which has 9,775 square feet of gaming, 240 slot machines with 3 table games, and it just was a segue into the bigger project that we're going to be doing, put it into the atrium.
So, okay, let's talk about moving over to the atrium because I don't think you could picture a better building downtown for this. I mean, with all due respect to the other 2 casinos in town, the atrium feels like, even though it was built many, many years ago, was built for this project.
Yeah, we agree, and it's a unique space as well. You know, kind of has in my opinion, a little European type flavor with all of the glass that we have there, and then we also have these historic buildings that are connected to it. The old Beauregard, the North Depot, the South Depot, the Cotton Exchange. So it's really a unique area, and we're real excited to be able to put a casino in there.
Give us some projected opening, and we'll get into some more details on what's in the casino in just a second. But projected opening dates for all of it. I mean, if reservations are open right now for the hotel, what's the projected opening date of the hotel?
We're expecting to open the hotel in April. Like you mentioned, you can start booking your stay currently, and we'll have the hotel open in April of 2025. But we're accepting reservations as we speak.
Okay, so as I was reading up on this, and I before I worked in radios, I worked in hotels. So if we get a little too inside baseball, I apologize in advance. But this stuck out to me. The hotel partnered with Agilysys Hospitality Technology to provide guests with customizable, streamlined, and intuitive experiences, including digital check-in and mobile key entry. What is an intuitive experience?
Well, that's encompassing of all of the latest advances in technology, including social media, streaming, pretty much software-based access to different areas.
Okay. See, I'm used to I need a credit card for your incidentals, and here's your key. That's what I know. So this would be a lot deeper than that, a lot more of an all-inclusive customer experience.
Yeah, it really is. With the state-of-the-art advances in technology and the latest in hotel lodging.
So you got the king rooms, you got the double queen rooms. Tell me a little bit about the suites. How sweet are we getting here?
The suites are totally awesome. They're separate living room, bedroom area. They've got 1.5 baths. We've got some with the stadium view of LSU. We've got some with the view of downtown Baton Rouge. And all in all, it's going to be 65 suites there. And we also have a Capitol Lounge that's going to be included. When you book your suites, we've got a Capitol Lounge on the 10th floor that's got a great view of downtown. That's going to serve a continental breakfast. And you can also upgrade to be able to use that Capitol Lounge if you book a regular room as well.
Oh, very nice. We're talking with Bruce Woods. He's the general manager of the Belle of Baton Rouge Hotel, which is on its way. Bookings are open right now. Hotel will be open in April of next year. Bruce, let's talk a little bit about the work that's gone into it thus far. I mean, this is, we all know where it's at on France Street downtown. We all know that, like, when you get into downtown, it can get a little congested. So I would imagine putting this whole thing together, it's been quite the task.
Yeah, it really has. It's and actually, if you drive past France Street right now in St. Philip's, you'll see all of the work that we've got going on. Currently, France Street between St. James and St. Philip's is blocked off because of the construction.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that work included, replacing the whole skin of the hotel. The exterior of the hotel is being replaced. The skin, like I mentioned, we've taken the interior down to the studs, and just rebuilt everything from the drywall, all of the rooms, plumbing, electric. So it's been a great ride, and we're currently working. Our construction crew has been, they've done a great job getting this thing, keeping it on time, and keeping the project on time as well.
Let's move back over to the casino side real quick, and I do want to talk employment in just a minute because y'all are going to add some numbers to downtown employment. But let's move back over to the casino side real quick. Walk me through a little bit about the breakdown here. We're talking all the the normal all the slots, but table games as well. You got all the amenities that a normal, shouldn't say normal, a brand new casino would have. Yeah, we sure do. We're going to have over 700 slot machines, 24 table games. As you know, in Baton Rouge, it's a non-smoking mandate in casinos, but we will have an indoor smoking area that'll have a couple of hundred slot machines in there. Oh, wow.
And some table games as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll have several cocktail lounges in there, bars. Like you mentioned, we'll have the sports book there as well. And then we'll have some of our restaurants will be located in the casino space, but we will have an area where you can access food that is not related to gaming for those individuals that are under 21. But yeah, we're really excited about what we're going to do there with that space, and and this is just the first phase of it. So,
are we close enough to know what kind of restaurant concepts we're looking at here?
Yeah, we know we'll have an oyster bar there. There'll be some pizza, bistro type of things there. So that much we do know that we'll have, and that's just the beginning phases of that.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be a coffee shop as well for our hotel guests. So.
Are there comps here? Like, what did y'all use to model what you're building off of?
As far as our company, Queen Casino and Entertainment, we recently did the Queen Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
So we've got some experience in what the market would like.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of our key personnel are out of Las Vegas, and they worked in a local market there for several decades. So then we've got a property in East St. Louis as well as one in Iowa too. So
let me re-ask the question here, because I know y'all are the same management or ownership as the Queen, but the Queen is a completely different build than this. This is retrofitting into an older building. This is making something like bringing it back to life again. So that's kind of where I was going, was like, is this isn't just a replication of the Queen?
Oh, absolutely not. Both properties, even though we're sister property, that we're located 1.5 miles away, they both are going to have their own distinct offering, which is something that we did by design. And like you mentioned, this is not a build from the ground up vacant space piece of a project that we're putting in here. This is going into an existing space with Catfish Town, and like we mentioned, some of these historic buildings that we've got connected to it. So it's going to have its own identity as well.
Oh, that reference to Catfish Town. Boy, that for the old school Baton Rougeans, that brings them back, to be sure. We got just a couple minutes left with Bruce Woods talking about the Belle of Baton Rouge coming back to life as of April in full. Okay, I know it's only November. You got a couple months here to work things out, but this is going to mean new jobs or a return of jobs at the very least. So employment opportunities, what's being looked at here?
Right, and right, Brian, and just so that I'm real clear now, the hotel is going to be opening in April,
Mm-hmm.
but now the casino project won't be finished until the fall of 2025.
Okay.
But like you mentioned, we're looking to add about 300 positions to downtown Baton Rouge. We're going to have positions in table games, security, food and beverage, hotel operations. We're going to definitely need dealers. And the great thing about the casino business in general is that it's an opportunity for people, everyone, regardless of your age, regardless of your education level. You can come in there and you can make a career out of it. But that's certainly what I did. And as far as dealers go, we pay you to go to dealing school. We'll train you,
Really?
teach you, pay for your license. And it's a pretty lucrative profession, and with unlimited advancement, you can advance as far as you like in the casino industry.
What about on the hotel side? What kind of employment are we looking at there?
We're going to be looking at the start. We're going to just be looking at front desk, the overnight clerks, et cetera, maintenance, just the general job that you would have in an hotel operation.
Is it too soon? Do y'all have a website up and running? Do we know where folks need to go to apply?
Yes, they can go to wearethecrown.com and
Mhm.
apply there, and we'll be glad to talk to them and take a look at your resume. And I'm sure that we've got something for everybody. Like we mentioned, if you're like a college student, you're just looking for something on the weekends. If you're like a high school student, you maybe don't want to go to college right away, you can do that. Now, granted, to work in the gaming aspect of it, you do have to be 21 years of age.
Sure.
And it's, for senior citizens, people of all ages, we're welcoming them to come and apply.
Look, I'm a walking testament to how working a hotel front desk is about the most conducive job to being a college student there is.
Yep.
You go to class until like noon, 1 o'clock, then you work that 3 to 11 shift, and you even have time to go out afterwards. It's a very easily scheduled gig, to be sure. In the meanwhile, as you've gone through this process, and the process is still going on, but what's been your favorite part about putting a hotel back together and putting this casino back together and bringing 102, 103 France back to life?
Well, like you said, it's just being I guess the best part of it is being a part of this downtown revitalization. I mean, downtown's done a great job of revitalizing itself over the last several years, and that piece of property had been sitting dormant for so long. It kind of just sapped the energy out of downtown. But that's bringing this project, this entertainment complex, into downtown. It's going to just be a bigger part of something that's great happening down there. So we're real excited about that. And then the opportunities for jobs as well. Being able to provide jobs to the community and to give another entertainment option to Baton Rouge.
He is Bruce Woods, the general manager of the new Bella Baton Rouge Hotel. Let's get you back on closer to opening date on continue the celebration.
That'd be great, Brian. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's 8:50. Here's your money now. Wonderfully done, sir. I mean, down to the second.
Yeah. Thank you, Brian.
Are you a Baton Rouge local?
I've been here for 30 years.
Okay.
Originally, I'm from Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Okay.
But I've been here since 1994.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
coming
again.
in. Thank you. I hope that was some decent footage. Sure.
Absolutely. That'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Okay.
Thanks. Good luck to y'all. Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll definitely be in touch. We'll have you on as we get closer to opening date and just really blow it out.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you. Yeah, have a good day.
Facebook, got to let you know we've got Monday morning meeting today, which I thought we had last week, and I was off by a week, but I just saw it come across my calendar reminder. Man, seeing the bell come back in real time, like seeing it come back in real time is so cool. I want to get in that hotel. I want to get in that hotel and see what's what.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to do Vex European. I completely forgot about that. Wait, hang on. Let me put his business card where I won't lose it. In my little pocket of business cards here. Will Green featured today, by the way. LABI's takeaways from the special session. How long do I have?
Probably about 2 minutes or so.
So the Queen not having a hotel, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out with Baton Rouge going back to a full 3 casinos, because the Queen upped their game. L'Auberge has always had a top-notch game. With the Bell upping their game, it's going to be fun to see who's attracting what and who is thriving. For far too long, people said Baton Rouge can't afford to have 3 casinos. One of them's going to die. But they're in a continual, let me re-up, let me re-up, let me re-up. $8:56 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Man, been a busy show this morning. A lot of session recap, a lot of looking forward. The last segment was awesome. Looking forward to the return of the Bella Baton Rouge Hotel and Casino. Oh man, everything you missed, anything you missed is available on demand or will be after the show is over with at talk1073.com. Before we get to the outside in, got to remind you about the folks over at Vex European. It is Thanksgiving week. Expected to be heavy travel out there. Before you put your car on the road, if you drive a European vehicle, you might want to hit up vexeuropean.com. Make sure that you're getting the maximum performance from your vehicle before hitting the road for holiday travel. Vexeuropean.com, offering same-day or next-day service at vexeuropean.com. Just visit the website, vexeuropean.com. Visit the website, pull up the little drop-down menu, see if your make of car is on there, because if it is, you are getting a master-level, expert-level technician who knows your make of vehicle. Mercedes, BMW, Land Rover, Range Rover, Jaguar. There's a whole slew of them available at vexeuropean.com. So if you're putting the car on the road, that needs to be your first stop. All right. Time for the outside in. Let's go. Starting off in Calcasieu Parish, a juvenile offender who was housed at the Swanson Center for Youth in Columbia has escaped custody while on furlough at their residence in Calcasieu Parish, according to the State Office of Juvenile Justice. Officials were notified around 9:30 a.m. Saturday that the 16-year-old male's ankle monitor had been tampered with. Law enforcement was notified at around 11 a.m. As juvenile records are confidential, the Office of Juvenile Justice cannot release the name nor the picture of the juvenile, which is probably going to make it harder to find him. Bringing it back home to Livingston Parish, a pedestrian is dead after being struck by a vehicle on Friday, according to Denham Springs Police Department. Police say they responded to a motor vehicle crash around 8:30 p.m. involving a vehicle and a pedestrian on Highway 190 near Thornton Lane. Names of those involved had not been released. Next stop, New Orleans. Saints legend Steve Gleason said he had an accident while exiting his van on Saturday. This incident happened as he was set to speak at the Gleason Life Skills Volleyball Clinic. His team said, quote, "It was traumatic for him and for all of us who witnessed him mangled on the asphalt." They said Gleason was hurt but was strapped into his wheelchair at the time. Gleason is now at home resting, said he is grateful for the love and support as he recovers. Keeping it in New Orleans to close out. Notices were distributed to unhoused people in and around the French Quarter late this past week, telling them to leave within 24 hours or they may be assisted in relocating to an encampment at another site. The encampment listed on the notice is the same one that was subject of a controversy when state-led sweeps relocated people to it last month in late October. State police and the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries relocated multiple encampments downtown. That is the outside in. We're all done for the day, y'all. Moon Griffon's coming up next. We'll have his full breakdown on the legislative session. I'll be followed by a brief visit with Brian Kilmeade before LSU women's basketball hits the air. 12:30 tip-off means pregame starts at noon. Patrick Wright will be on the call along, yours truly will be producing that one. So we'll be back at it tomorrow. Got a full slate, more legislative breakdown, and a whole lot more coming your way then. All right, I got to get. We'll see y'all. Oh, and happy birthday to State Representative Paula Davis. I don't know how I missed that. Later.